Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Well, today we're digging into the latest market trends. And guys, you're going to want to hear this.
Yes, some pretty big stuff happening.
Big stuff is right. We're breaking down a fresh financial market briefing, hot off the press. It covers a possible mega acquisition in the finance world, Tesla taking another big leap forward with self-driving, and get this, TikTok's becoming a real force in e-commerce. Crazy, Ruddy.
It really shows how much the global economy is changing, all these things happening at once.
Exactly. It's all connected. Okay, so let's kick things off with where a lot of us are probably feeling it right now, the markets. The S&P 500, it closed at 6,032, up almost 0.5%.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And the Dow Jones, that climbed a bit over 1/3% to 44,910. But the real winner,
Let me guess. Tech.
you got it. The Nasdaq jumped nearly 0.7% to close at 19,218. Even the Russell 2000, which tracks those smaller companies, saw a little bump, closing at 2,434. So lots of green on the screens this week?
Sounds like investors are feeling pretty optimistic overall. That NASDAQ surge definitely tells us tech stocks are, like I said, the place to be right now.
Absolutely. But, and here's where things get interesting. While the stock market's all happy and green, the crypto world, what's a different story? Bitcoin dipped almost 2% to 95,642, and Ethereum took an even bigger hit, dropping over 2.5% to 3,615. Makes you wonder, is crypto having a midlife crisis or something?
Well, remember that SEC lawsuit rumor last month? That sent the whole crypto market into a tailspin. Really shows how sensitive it is to, any talk of regulation.
Right, even just a rumor.
Exactly. I always say you got to have a strong stomach and a high-risk tolerance to play in the crypto world.
For sure. Okay, buckle up for this one. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, is potentially buying HPS Investment Partners.
For a cool $12 billion. That's billion with a B. Talk about a power move, huh? Huge news in the finance world for sure. BlackRock's already a giant, and HPS. They're a major player in private credit. What's really interesting is why private credit is getting so popular, especially now. It's basically a way for companies to avoid those traditional bank loans, which can be hard to get when the economy is a bit shaky.
So is BlackRock making a risky move here, or are they seeing something that maybe we should all be paying attention to?
I think they're definitely signaling a change in the financial landscape. This deal tells us private credit's becoming mainstream, and it could start a domino effect with other asset managers jumping on board.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you're looking to, mix things up in your portfolio, this is definitely a trend to watch.
Makes sense. Now, from those financial giants, let's switch gears to something that affects, well, everyone. Oil prices. They're climbing again after a pretty bumpy November.
Yeah, global events have a huge impact on something as essential as oil. You can't ignore that. Like that recent ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. That actually helped stabilize the region and let oil prices bounce back a bit. It's a perfect example of how geopolitics and energy markets, they're totally intertwined.
Absolutely. Speaking of global impact, that upcoming OPEC Plus meeting has everyone a bit on edge.
Oh, for sure. OPEC Plus, that group of major oil-producing nations, they hold a lot of power. Think of them like the puppet masters of global energy.
Podmasters love it.
Yeah, their decisions on oil production, it can impact everything. From the gas we put in our cars to the cost of doing business for industries that rely on energy. It's a reminder that, what happens halfway across the world can really hit home. Especially with the holidays coming up, those gas prices are on everyone's mind.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears to something a little more futuristic. Tesla. They just dropped a huge update to their full self-driving software. And I mean, this isn't just some little tweak. This is a major leap forward for autonomous vehicles.
Tesla's really pushing the limits, and the market's definitely taking notice. Investors are super confident in Tesla's ability to innovate, and I think this update could really cement their position as the leader in, both the EV and self-driving space.
It makes me think I need to ditch my old clunker and get a Tesla. I mean, if they can really perfect self-driving, it's going to be a game changer. Imagine no more traffic jams, way fewer accidents, and hey, maybe even more free time because our cars are doing the driving.
Right. It could revolutionize everything.
Speaking of revolutionizing things, let's talk about the platform that, well, used to be all about Dance challenges. TikTok, get ready for this.
Yeah.
TikTok Shop is blowing up in the e-commerce world, even with that potential U.S. ban hanging over their heads.
It's amazing how they're using their huge user base, especially with Gen Z, to create a whole new shopping experience.
Huh.
And it's not just those, established Amazon sellers, traditional retailers are jumping on board too. It really shows how social media is transforming into a massive marketplace.
Makes me wonder if I should even bother with Amazon Prime anymore. What if we're seeing like a complete shift? Are traditional retailers even going to exist in a few years if TikTok keeps this up?
That's the big question. Is this the beginning of the end for those big e-commerce players, or will they adapt and figure out how to compete in this new world of social commerce?
So we've covered a lot. A strong stock market with tech leading the way, crypto being, well, crypto, and a huge potential acquisition by BlackRock. Plus, we talked about how global events like that ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah can directly affect things like oil prices.
And of course, TikTok shaking things up in the retail world, making us all rethink how we shop.
Yeah, it's like we're watching a retail revolution happen right in front of us. Exciting, but kind of scary too.
Totally. But that's the interesting part, right? Change always brings challenges, but it also opens up incredible opportunities.
So with all this happening so fast, what does it all mean for everyone listening? What do we do with all this?
The main takeaway is this. Staying informed is more important than ever. Things are changing constantly, with events all over the world and economic policy shifting the landscape. If you understand these trends and how they're connected, you can make smarter choices about your money, your career, even just navigating the world around you.
I always love your predictions. What do you see happening next?
Well, based on what we've talked about, I think a few things are likely. First, I think we're going to see more consolidation in the asset management industry. That BlackRock HPS deal, it could be just the start. As companies try to stay competitive, we might see a wave of mergers and acquisitions.
So the big companies just keep getting bigger.
Pretty much. Second, the tech sector, especially stuff like AI and automation, it's going to keep growing. Those are the technologies shaping the future, and investors know it.
It's like that saying, the future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed yet.
Love that. And finally, the energy sector. It's going to stay heavily influenced by OPEC plus decisions and, just how stable things are globally. Keep an eye on those things because they'll impact everything from gas prices to, well, how much everything costs.
This is all super insightful. But I have to ask, with TikTok making such a splash, what does this mean for those big e-commerce players like Amazon? What's their future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is this the beginning of the end for those companies, or will they adapt and figure out how to compete in this new world of shopping on social media?
We talked about how TikTok is shaking things up in retail, but what if we zoom out even further? Could this be a sign of something even bigger, like a fundamental shift in how consumers behave, especially Gen Z?
That's a great point. I mean, if Gen Z, who grew up with all this tech, if they're totally comfortable shopping right on social media, what does that mean for the future of retail in general? Will we even need physical stores anymore?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. We've gone from shopping malls to like these online mega stores. And now maybe it's all about buying stuff right in our social media feeds.
Things are changing fast, that's for sure. The way we buy and sell, it's evolving faster than ever.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. We covered a lot today. A strong stock market, the crazy world of crypto, a huge potential acquisition by BlackRock, and TikTok's surprise rise in e-commerce. It's a lot, I know. But what's the one thing you should take away from all of this?
It's simple, really. Stay informed. The more you understand about these trends and how they all connect, the better prepared you'll be to make good decisions about your money, your career, even just, understanding what's happening in the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We're living in a time of constant change, and the deep dive is here to help you make sense of it all. We're your guides to the world of market trends, breaking it all down so you can stay ahead of the game.
And remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. We all have a hand in creating it. By staying informed and engaged, you can help shape what's to come.
Absolutely. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.